This podcast is sponsored by MPB. Alright everyone, how you all doing? Welcome along back to the Anomalies podcast with your host, Wildlife with Cookie, and your co-host,
Jacob.
Reams. JJ Rims in the house.
Yeah.
That's a Discord thing. You need to be part of the Discord to know what that is. JJ Rims and that, innit?
Yeah.
JJ Rims.
It's something come down to like uni with me. People have found the
really?
Discord and call me that now.
JJ Rims.
I can't escape it.
It's a porn name, innit? JJ Rims.
I don't know.
Yeah, it is. That's what it's...
It's my side business.
Well, anyway. Rachel's here.
Hello.
How are you?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Good, yeah? You excited for this second podcast?
Yeah.
How did the first one go, kids? Do we think that was alright?
Yeah, it went all right.
Yeah? You enjoyed that, Rach?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah, it went well.
I thought it was alright, to be fair.
Apart from my coughing fit.
Yeah. That's the only thing we want to try and cut out today.
I'll try not, but
No comment.
no guarantees.
Yeah, we don't want that. So if you can keep that to a minimum, that'd be great.
I'll try.
What should be you? No.
Obviously.
I'll come over, I'll bat it.
Yeah, you'll put me in position.
I won't be happy. Before we get into it though, this podcast is sponsored by MPB. MPB is the largest global platform to buy, sell and trade used photography and videography equipment. It is a fantastic platform which you can find yourself some DSLR cameras, some drones, some action cameras, whatever you need to go and be creative. MPB will have it there just for you. I've used it myself. I've got a Canon R5 and a 100 to 500 millimeter lens, and it was absolutely amazing. And on average, people that buy from MPB will be spending nearly a third less than if they were to buy new. So for me, it makes sense. Get yourself over to MPB. But anyway, back to the podcast. You have been at university recently. And where are you? What are you doing?
Down in Cornwall at Falmouth Uni doing marine and natural history photography.
That is geeky, isn't it?
It's just fancy wildlife.
That whole title just sounds sick.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just fancy wildlife photography.
Yeah.
They could have just titled it that. Would have been easier to say.
That is mad geeky though, isn't it? It does sound good though, like you said.
Yeah, it does sound really good.
So what? Tell us what you're doing then. So you just started, right?
Yeah, I started back in September. So what's that? 4 or 5 months ago?
Yeah.
I'm able to do the maths.
How is it?
It's awesome down there. Like, I'm loving life down there.
So you like just photographing stuff all day long and that, is it?
Pretty much, yeah. Have a lecture. They're just like, oh, just use a camera. So it's pretty basic stuff to begin with.
Yeah.
And then they'll just be like, oh yeah, your task this week, go take a picture of, I don't know.
Is that legit all it is?
Yeah, like the week before I came back here, we had a task of what is wilderness. And so we literally had to think of a definition of how we perceive wilderness and take a picture of what we think.
Yeah.
And that was it.
So what did you do for that?
I didn't do it.
What is it? You're dossing? Is that what?
I missed.
You survived that one, did you? Oh, you
slept through it.
Of course you did. What a student, my God. Is that like what they do then? So it's basically like every week it's like, right, go find a kingfisher. Basically my YouTube channel. And
yeah, it's basically what we do, but I'm getting a degree out of it.
Yeah.
I'm paying like stupid amounts of money to do that.
What a better place to do it though?
No, yeah, it's all
Hold on. Whereabouts is it?
down Falmouth.
Falmouth.
Yeah.
Is it?
Falmouth?
Is it?
It's
No.
awesome. Especially at the moment, we had like a mega pod of dolphins chilling.
Oh, okay. So wildlife is pretty good, right? Like
Sounds nice.
You've got some interesting wildlife. Yeah, but it's a bit smaller, isn't it?
They're smaller in Cornwall.
It's like the biggest in Cornwall, I'm pretty sure.
But what I'm looking at here, right, is the weather. Because you're on the coast, on the east coast.
No.
You must get, the west coast. I always get my east and west mixed up. You're on the west coast. You must always just get battered by rain.
Yeah. So in like the 5 months I've been living there,
How much sun have you
I
seen?
think I've seen a grand total of like 2 days sun.
Do you spend a lot of time outside?
Yeah.
We couldn't tell. Honestly. Could you? He looks pale. Look at him.
I don't think you do.
I'm sat next to Casper.
Paler.
No, to be fair, you actually look tan. Yeah. To be fair, you've got that like natural complexion, I would say. That orangey sort of tan, innit? That not bronze, it's orange.
Sort of tan.
Yeah.
Really set it up.
Yeah. But so the weather's not very good.
No. Past few days it's been nice though.
Yeah, it's been nice everywhere in the UK.
Any time I've been to Falmouth, it's been lovely.
Yeah?
Always been really sunny.
So what do you do down there?
Just, this, that. Get on the boat. Upstream.
Well, that's good. That's a real insight into Falmouth.
That's all this then.
Yeah, that sounds wicked. Sounds good.
But my experience of Falmouth is going to be very different to Jacob's. Jacob lives there.
Is it not boring?
I only ever went for a day.
No.
Yeah, but you'd say that about living anywhere.
I much prefer it here. Like, I'd rather be here right now.
I would 100% rather live in Cornwall than here.
Fine.
Yeah, I don't want to be here in the studio right now. Get me out of it.
Disgrace. All right, whatever. Fine. All right, no, fair enough. Like, I'm obviously getting ganged up on here about Falmouth and that. To me, I'm not that keen. Obviously, wildlife, there's some cool stuff down there, especially like you said, big megapod dolphins.
Yeah.
Which is obviously just a good draw for anyone, innit? So why did you choose to do that for uni? What's it? Why?
Well, as you know, I did wildlife photography anyway.
Yeah.
That's my passion.
Yeah.
And it's the only course in the UK that does that. I'm pretty sure it's the only one in Europe that does wildlife photography.
That is pretty mad, isn't it? Yeah.
Kind of only had one option.
Yeah.
Unless I wanted to go down like the science route and do like zoology or something.
You know,
Is it a hard one to get into? If it's only sort of the one out of sort of Europe, was it hard to get into?
Well, I was told it was, but half the people there just can't really take pictures.
Oh, cool.
If they're watching this, I feel bad now.
Oh, he's just fired some shots. Yeah, I'm watching this now because they're going to think, oh, he's on big podcast. Like, let's go see what that is.
There's some people
flagged. Flagging them off. They can't take pictures.
Okay, I went a bit extreme there, but like, I was told when I was like applying that it is like really hard to get onto. Like, you have to be the best of the best.
Yeah.
But then the first few weeks of the course, it literally was like, here's how to use a camera, here's how to do this. And I was like, I thought we were meant to be like...
already knowing what this is.
I don't know. I feel like you'd have to go through the basics anyway, just in case there is people that...
Self-taught, like me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to know manuals and all that. You know what I mean?
I feel like I could take a good photo, but if you say to me, work this camera...
Do it in manual.
I would literally say, what?
Well, yeah,
I can know how to turn a camera on and off, but other than that, I've got absolutely no idea.
I think a lot of people wouldn't know how to use manual.
No. Loads of people use film cameras as well. I don't get that.
No, that's weird. See, like that, I don't... That's dead now, isn't it?
For wildlife as well. Like, if you're doing maybe, I don't know, like photography or landscape.
Yeah.
Film for wildlife, that's pretty... That sounds hard.
I do love film camera and like the pictures it produces, but I feel like for wildlife that's just a bit too difficult.
No,
yeah, it's a bit mad though, eh? But are you enjoying it so far?
No, I love it.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Oh, I'm glad.
Is it a 3-year course?
Yeah.
And then what are you going to do after it?
Who knows?
Travel the world. He said he was going to Australia.
No, it is.
Follow my footsteps.
I do want to, like, as soon as it's over, go and spend like a year out in like Oz.
That's standard, isn't it?
Yeah.
Imagine the wildlife you'd see out there with all your like, geek knowledge and that. Because you're now like a diving scuba diver, innit?
Well, yeah.
So that's part of the course, isn't it? And that's something you're going to do on the course.
Yeah, start
You can go to Great Barrier Reef and take notes of that.
Literally, I said like that's easy job. Like in a few years' time, when he's got loads of like dive experience and underwater camera, you can go be like a underwater photographer somewhere, innit? Sick. Imagine that you'd be traveling all around like Maldives and that.
No. Yeah, you do that. That sounds good.
Yeah, man. Fair play to you. So, like,
abandon you. How
do people get into that? Because there's going to be people watching this who or listening who are like, well, I want to do that sort of thing. There's going to be like young people who are listening and think, I want to get into wildlife. I want to get into wildlife photography and that sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. How do they go about doing what you've started?
Hey guys, if you're enjoying, one more time. Guys, if you like The Wild Times, check us out on Patreon. We put out 4 extra podcasts per month.
That's one commute a week that you're just going to be laughing and learning the whole time in the car. Hey, let me do something else. This is the late night content, stuff that we can't show on YouTube because they'll kick us off YouTube.
It's the Cinemax of podcasts. Uncensored, raw dog. It's the Cinemax of podcasts. Check it out. Link right here.
Well, for me, it's been like my whole life has been wildlife.
Yeah.
Like when I was young, my grandparents kind of funneled me into that interest and everything. And then I picked up a camera and was like, oh, cool. Like I can remember what I've seen to a picture and like I can share it and everything, like share stories and different things like that. And it's also like David Attenborough. Watching him inspired me.
The goat.
And then it's just kind of, I was like, yeah, I want to do this as like a job. I want to keep doing it. And then I think it was my A-level teacher. Yeah, I was doing photography at A-level.
Yeah.
And she was like, like, what are you doing for uni? Because I found this awesome course that is like perfect for you.
Right.
So I looked into it. I was like, yeah, this is sick.
So what were you doing before that then? Before your A-level teacher has obviously led you in the right direction. What was on your horizons before then?
Zoology courses.
Oh, so it wasn't look like photography?
I didn't want to go into just like, I don't know, like film and TV or something like that.
Yeah.
I wanted to do wildlife photography, but they didn't have that. So I was like, I want a wildlife job. So
Yeah.
zoology.
So this is the only place in the United Kingdom or Europe, you said? That
I think it was Europe, yeah.
So that's Falmouth University.
Yeah.
So if there's anyone at like university age, or maybe older or younger, I don't know, that's sort of thinking about that, that's where they should look.
No, yeah.
Falmouth Uni.
It's, yeah.
And you love it?
Yeah. It's awesome.
Big up. Look at this promotion we're giving Falmouth Uni.
Yeah.
So that's wicked. It sounds wicked. Hopefully you do really well out of it. I think you will. Like, you've done good stuff already. Photos are wicked. Pretty sick, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good luck for the future.
Cheers.
Enjoy this podcast while it lasts. Right, anyway, we've got a new segment. We wanted to chuck something in here that was a little bit fresh, a little bit new, and we wanted to give Rachel something to do. So we've come up with this segment. It's the news, but it's wildlife news. Okay, there was a jingle. Do that again. I wasn't expecting that. Where did that come from? I wasn't expecting a little ringtone.
Yeah.
Come on, do that again. Ready?
I don't-
No, we'll introduce it again.
Can't
We'll do it
do it
again.
here.
Are you ready?
No, 'cause I'm gonna...
Right, so the new segment... Oh, she's coughing. So the new segment we've got is the news.
It's the news.
That's wicked. I'm so happy. The segment's wicked already. All right, go on then. So the news, the premise is you're going to read out some things. What is it? Tell us.
So I've got a couple of news articles that I have found from recent times.
Yeah.
I can give you the names of them and you can pick which ones you want to
Yeah, right.
listen
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, go on then. How many you got?
Just got 4.
All right, that's pretty rubbish, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe a couple more.
Right, go on then.
So first off, I'm going to say this wrong.
Right.
Melancholy.
So, what?
Yep. So
What do you mean? What was that?
melancholy.
Melancholy.
Yep. And then we've got your... I can't do it. Your naked. And the styler in a cupboard. I can't really narrow that one down. Or
Hold on. You're speeding up a bit, yeah? What was that second one?
your naked.
You're nay good.
Nay. Like horse.
Jesus Christ.
Lastly, we've got bug off you slag.
Sorry?
Bug off you slag.
Can you go through them again quicker?
Yep. So melancholy.
Well done.
Your naked.
Yeah.
Styler in a cupboard. Bug off you slag.
Right.
What good news article?
Yeah, some good...
I've obviously changed. They're my titles, not
There's not the actual title.
no, and they can't have them either because I've made them.
Right, okay. Designed by Rachel.
Yep.
What are we saying? What do you want to hear? So what? Melancholy, your day good. Thaler in a cupboard. Bug off you slag. What is it you want to go for? What?
They're all kind of intriguing. Trying to figure out what they're about.
Go on, you pick one and I'll pick one. You go for it, mate. What do you want me
I
to
think we've got to go for just bug off your slag.
Bug off you slag. Bug off you slag, please. What is that?
I'm glad you've started off with that one. So basically, it's a zoo in America
Right.
that, because obviously Valentine's Day is approaching soon, you can donate some money to this zoo to name a cockroach after your ex-partner,
Nice.
and then they feed it to some animals. And then I think
Yes.
they sometimes live stream some of it, so they'll be like, "This is Josh to the lizard," and then you can watch them be eaten.
I love that. That's wicked. Oh, have you got the article up here?
Yeah, so it's the San Antonio Zoo.
So that's in America, yeah? And so that's so strange. Like, they're like, what's that little TikTok like? So they've got, that's really cool, though. That's actually a really good idea. Like, I can imagine. I can imagine that's gone really well. Meanwhile,
Easy money.
yeah.
I think the zoo do things similar to this of different occasions because obviously it's interesting, it's different. TikTok, I imagine, absolutely love it.
Field day, yeah.
So
and
it's
TikTok would have gone.
a great way to donate to gather some money for them.
I was going to say, it's a good way of raising. Look, what's that one?
I was put on there.
Wow, no.
I'm being fed to the
Let's just rock you over to that one. Right in the middle. Rich, highlight it for us. Jacob.
Was one of the most popular names.
Jacob, the little playboy. He's been rumbled. Yes, it says there about TikTok, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Was something about a pumpkin smashing something as well.
Yeah, hippo.
smashing a pumpkin, hippo crushing a pumpkin. But that's really cool. Like, I actually think that's a really smart idea.
Yeah.
You know, to get people into wildlife. Obviously, like, this is appealing to people who have like had ex-partners or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is great, right? Because
They are great. Relationship failed.
yeah, but we're getting wildlife in on the topic, and I think that's really good.
Well, yeah.
I really like that.
I just think it's funny. Like,
It is.
No, yeah.
it's different, isn't it? Like,
Yeah. Who would you put on there? What name would you put on there?
I'd go with. Well, I'd say I'd go with quite a few names. I feel like it's just one of the things that even if you didn't have an ex necessarily, or if you did but you liked them, just go for your enemies.
Yeah. Good point. Chuck your mates in for a bit of banter, innit? What, me?
Yeah.
Why would you do
Oh, just banter.
what? Just banter?
Yeah, be finished.
Stick me in there, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're in there a lot, so it says all about you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Huh? Right, that was good. I enjoyed that one. That's a good start, actually. Bug off, you slag.
You're welcome.
That's it. So I'm going to go with... No, I do like the sound of Thyla in a cupboard because it's on topic for what we're going to talk about today. But I'm actually not going to go for that one. But I want to hear about it at some point.
Okay.
But I'm going to go with You're Nay Good. What's that then? You're Nay Good.
Go on, do the voice.
You're Nay Good.
Well done. So this is from the UK, I believe. So South Yorkshire Police is looking for a new home for their 7-year-old gelding because it's basically not disciplined enough.
Now, what's happened to this horse then? What's he not good at? Nay good at?
Basically, he's just not disciplined enough. Apparently, he's very good. Like, he's got very good manners.
Yeah.
Very lovely horse. He's just not disciplined enough. So
I'm looking about and that. So he's on like guard duty and he thinks, lol, bants, I'm going to have a run, sort of thing. Is that what we're talking about?
yeah.
Yeah.
So it says he just didn't excel as a police horse, basically.
It says he's got impeccable manners.
Yeah.
Dan one.
Yeah,
It says
horse.
he's a nice little horse, yeah.
But yeah, so
He does look nice, got his tongue out there, cheeky.
Act.
Mischievous horse, look at him.
Poor guy.
That's real sad.
Yeah.
Poor little fella. Oh, but just say he's got impeccable manners.
Yeah.
And he's very nice.
Horse.
It looks nice.
So if you're in the market for a new horse that's with impeccable manners and you don't want to police it, get into contact with South Yorkshire Police.
Yeah.
Poor little guy. Yeah, get yourself a little horse, innit? Impeccable manners. That'd be good.
And don't forget the sponsor of the podcast is
MPB, the largest global platform where you can buy used photography and videography equipment. You can also sell it. You can also trade it. It's a proper good platform, isn't it, Rach?
It is.
So get yourself over to mpb.com. Look out for all the camera equipment you can get there. The DSLRs, the action cameras, the drones. It's wicked, mate. Back to the podcast. Something that's interesting that's happened in the last couple of weeks.
Some de-extinction.
De-extinction. De-extinction.
Like Jurassic Park kind of thing, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Yeah.
Pretty mental to think we have that power.
And it's weird, isn't it? Because you know, like cloning's been talked about for a long time, and I assume this is what it is, right? But they've got a different name for it. It's just a really weird sounding thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like it is Jurassic Park.
Something that's been dead for like some of these animals thousands of years.
Yeah, it's mental.
Bring it back.
Do you know much about this?
A small amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, how are we going to start this? Because there's big news about it, but I suppose we should start at the beginning.
At the beginning, yeah.
Yeah.
So
What's going on? What's happening?
there's this Texas-based company called Colossal. They're a bioscience genetic de-extinction company, or they're kind of a bit crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And
InGen.
yeah,
Yeah, go on.
the real life
Jurassic
InGen.
Park, yeah.
But basically, they announced, what was it, a couple of years ago now, that they're going to bring back a mammoth.
Okay, yeah. So I've heard that, yeah.
So yeah, this is also the one that I've seen the most of.
Yeah, that was pretty
Yeah.
massive news when they announced it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, just thinking that, because they've said like in the next 5 years, the first like little mammoths could be running around again.
That's mental.
So imagine that.
Yeah, can you imagine like just flipping mammoths and that? Like, so what? How are they going to do that then? How is a mammoth walking the earth again?
So basically, closest living relative to the mammoth is the Indian elephant. It's basically like 99.6%.
Oh, okay, mad close.
DNA
Yeah.
is the same and everything.
Mad close, yeah.
And so the plan is to get the DNA and everything that they've extracted from mammoths that have been preserved in like the permafrost and stuff in like Siberia and places, put that into an embryo and then impregnate an Indian elephant that will then
Okay.
22 months later, give birth to a mammoth. Like, put simply.
But then, how do they then make like multiple of them without interbreeding?
Do you know what? Good question. Jacob, do you have an answer?
Well, last time I did biology was a good few years ago, so they'll try and bring back the A-level knowledge, but...
Well, I suppose the way they cook them up is just chuck it in another elephant. So if
Also, you can change the genes and stuff within it.
yeah.
Like, you can do all different things to change different things that are expressed in it. Like,
Right, okay.
basically, to put it simply, you can turn genes on and off to make it
That's
slightly
weird.
different.
I know.
Pretty sure you can remove genes to make it male or female.
Yeah.
I could be completely making this stuff up.
Don't say that, man. Just rock with it.
I'm just, going with A-level biology.
Yeah, smashed it.
But,
You didn't even add that part. I think everyone was believing you. I was just nodding my head like, yeah, he's talking some knowledge.
Yeah, but basically, we've got a few specimens as well that
Yeah.
recovered DNA from, so there'd be a bit of genetic diversity there already.
Yeah, absolutely. So they can take that sort of stuff out, stick it in the elephant, and then try and like sort of spread the ancestral lines.
Absolutely insane that they have DNA from a woolly mammoth.
They didn't go out of they didn't go that long ago, did they? Do you know where it was? I don't know the exact.
Died when the pyramids were being built.
That's quite a long time ago, actually.
So
It's only a few
6,000, 80,000,
Wait.
10, 10, 10.
history is not my strong point.
No,
10,000 years. That's nothing.
it's not. And obviously, if you get stuck in ice, it's
Yeah,
it's
like
literally a
DNA.
freezer in it.
DNA has like a sell-by date, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure it's something like the half-life of DNA is about 2.5 million years.
Everyone loud.
Yeah,
So, like,
it's quite a while.
that means a dinosaur you can't get because the DNA is gone.
So what you're saying is we aren't going to have a Jurassic Park. We're not going to have.
Could do.
We're not going to have like T-Rexes running about. Is what you're saying?
Well, we could do. But that's a whole different thing.
Right. Okay. Let's not go into that then.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the extinction of the animals so far, because the mammoth is quite an interesting one. What's the idea with the mammoth? What are they going to do with it?
So basically, the original plan was there's a place called Pleistocene Park that's being created in Siberia.
Jurassic Park.
Sounds a bit like that.
Yeah.
It's got some better intentions.
Right, okay.
Whereas Jurassic Park was like a theme park, making money off of it. This is conservation.
Right. Okay.
And do you know anything about the mammoth steppe?
It's from a long time ago,
We're still now.
but it's not very good now, is it?
Now it's kind of dying because we've killed off all the megafauna.
Yeah.
What?
Megafauna is like big animals and that. Yeah. Come on, big words here. So what's going on? So like, basically big animals, and because we killed it off, that job's not being done anymore.
Yeah. So up in like, what's the word?
Is it Siberia?
Yeah, Siberian like tundra.
Yeah.
That kind of habitat.
Yeah.
Basically, the megafauna would go along clearing the snow. Like mammoths being big and heavy, they'd compact it, get rid of the thick layer, and it would allow plants to go through.
Yeah.
But nothing's there doing that job anymore. So
It's just
it's
no.
just thick snow just piling up, and the plants are all dying off.
Yeah.
And it's thought that like the mammoth steppe, if we boil it back, it could help with climate change because there's going to be more plants taken in, like dark side and everything.
I was trying to think of what the word was. Yeah, carbon dioxide. Yeah.
And so it'll just help take in more because at the moment that kind of habitat's a bit useless.
And in 5 years, within 5 years, this could be happening.
5 years.
That's mental.
Like baby mammoths could potentially be back. Yeah.
But that's also mad considering how long an elephant is pregnant. So basically, it's not even really that long.
No, well, so like I don't know what the actual like step is on that. Is that after? Is that birthed? Because
That's just when they're like first back, like
what? That's in like
mammoths existing, kind of thing.
so birthed.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, because you're right. Yeah, it's like
And it's only really
3 years.
3 years.
3 years. So you just get one of the duff and that. innit?
Estimated anyway.
That's
it could take
mental.
way longer, but that's what they hope.
But then also, I think, granted, I'm not a scientist, but if they've got if they've got the DNA from the mammoth anyway, they've got an elephant. Why is it taking 3 years?
There's other science.
There's a lot of stuff that has to go into like genetic splicing and everything to make sure the mammoth DNA has to be accepted by the elephant in order to actually like form inside the elephant and then give birth.
In simple words, there is still some science to be done.
There's quite a lot to be done.
So, all right, move us on then. So that's the mammoth. That's going to be happening. This company, Colossal Bioscience, I think it's called.
Yeah.
They also announced something very interesting. My voice just went then. They also announced something very interesting. So obviously, us sat here today, and something we're going to talk about later. What was that?
The Thylacine.
The Thylacine.
Another pretty mental one.
Yeah, crazy.
I mean, it's not as mental though, seeing as it was like the 30s when it went extinct though. It's a bit more recent than the mammoth.
Potentially the 13th.
Oh, yeah.
Could be later.
And also, bully mammoth really cute.
You reckon?
Yeah, cute woody. Especially baby ones.
Yeah, yeah. I can imagine they would be fuzzy.
When I was looking into, sorry, I'm going back to the mammoths. When I was looking at the mammoths and how like it would look as a baby coming from the elephant, the photo of it was so cute.
Fair enough.
Anyway, back to the
Go on, Ed. Tell us about. So the next one they've got Thylacine.
Yeah,
What's going on?
with the Thylacine, they've partnered up with a uni in Australia, University of Melbourne.
Yep.
Where they're working together to bring back the Thylacine from extinction. So
Crazy.
yeah.
And obviously, same sort of scenario. They've got like well-preserved thylacines that they can.
Well, yeah, there's plenty of specimens in like collections.
Yeah.
Like we've seen one at a museum.
They've got something at the Natural History Museum, haven't they? That's to do with Thylacine.
Yeah.
But had they saved? I don't know how like the DNA and stuff works, but had they saved DNA from the existing ones, not now the dead ones? Do you know what I mean?
What do you mean, Rach? Do you mean the ones that were still walking about? Did they like get blood and that from it?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, sure.
I don't think that's what happened. No.
We'll have like specimens in like jars and stuff.
Yeah.
So the body is still completely intact and you can take it from that.
I think there's one of them actually in the Natural History Museum you just mentioned.
I'm pretty sure there is, yeah.
It's a little baby one or a fetus or something that's in a little jar. Yeah. You've seen that, yeah? Right. So I think that's the sort of like they get it from that sort of stuff and like old pelts and stuff like that. Yeah.
I feel like now, like in like modern day now, if an animal is endangered, they will take things from it
Well, yeah.
to save. But I guess they didn't do that time.
Yeah.
Nice.
We didn't have as much of an understanding about it.
Yeah.
I do get what you're saying though, and I do think it's quite interesting. That's why I'm interested in hearing about this de-extinction stuff and what it can do for animals that are still alive today that aren't having a very good time with things. So obviously the animals that they've mentioned so far, the mammoth and the thylacine, are obviously one of them is definitely extinct. One of them is got a little question mark over the top of it.
Officially extinct.
Officially extinct with a question mark, yeah, I would say. And then there's another one as well, isn't there? What's this happened? So obviously, go back to the thylacine.
Right.
They've partnered up with a university. They got a bit of money to sort of push this forward, and they came out with an outlandish sort of estimate of time. They said it was going to be.
It was between 5 to 10 years again. They could be having thylacines at the same time as mammoths, potentially.
But what was crazy about this one? They said rewilded. They didn't say like. Just making one.
Well.
So they didn't say just making one. They said no, that's going out into the wild in 5 to 10 years.
Their plan is basically to begin with putting them on a private island in Tasmania to kind of get them back with some like natural instincts and everything, getting them surviving out in the wild. And once it's all going well, ship them over.
Let them do their job.
Just put them back in the wild.
Because the habitat hasn't changed that much in Tasmania, but obviously without its apex predator, it's not going to be having a good time. As time goes on, it will just sort of gradually decline itself.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the mammoth, we've got thylacine. Something else has happened very recently.
Yeah, literally only like a week ago.
Yeah.
As of recording this, anyway.
Yeah.
They announced the dodo.
I'm going to say, really?
Yeah.
Flipping dodo and that, innit? Which you were happy about that one?
It's a bit more random, like the mammoth, climate change.
Yeah.
Thylacine, just like because we got rid of an apex predator, bring that back. But yeah, dodo, it's a bit more random.
Yes.
How long has it been since they were around?
400 years, I think.
Was it 400?
16?
I think it was like 1700s.
Yeah,
I think
1650, I'll guess. Something like that. It's
it was the 17th century, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so it hasn't been that long, to be fair. It's not been major though, from Mauritius and whatever. So that'll be quite interesting.
Yeah.
So, obviously they've said this, but what else have they announced with that as well? Because they have secured the bag, in terms of finances. Like what?
They've got quite a bit of money coming in.
So how much you talking here?
Like tens of millions. At the like
More.
Well, yeah.
More.
I don't know the exact figures though, but like
$150 million is what they've.
more than I thought.
Yeah, $150 million is what is more funding that's gone into it, right? And then they've announced the dodo as their new like avian sort of de-extinction project. So they've got mammoths, they've got thylacines, and now they're going into the birds.
Is this all the same people?
Yeah,
Same people, yeah.
Good.
But it's like each year they just bring out a new animal. They come and they're like, oh, we want to see this.
Yeah.
Here you go. It's a dodo.
But it seems like out of nowhere, like with the thylacine, they announced they got $5 million in funding, right? And Chris Hemsworth was one of the backers, right?
Wow.
Loved it. Yeah, he's like, yeah, bring back the thylacine, mate. And that was really bad. I would never do that ever again. I'm sorry. And then this next one, for me, I was like, Jesus Christ. Like when I read it, because it's like, one, they've announced a dodo, and I'm like, at that point, I'm like, oh yeah, cool, right? But the next bit where they were like, we've also got 150 million, and I was like, really?
No, yeah.
Where has that come
That's
from?
a lot of money.
Isn't it? At that point, I'm like, mate, that is serious. You know, like 5 million's a lot, obviously, but like 150 million is like unprecedented, I suppose, in that sort of field. That's crazy money.
The dodo's different though to the other two.
Yeah.
Because both mammoth and thylacine, we have the DNA and everything from
Yeah.
it. Dodo, we didn't. So what they've basically done is found, again, the closest living like relatives and stuff in terms of their DNA, like how close they are.
What is the closest living relative to a dodo?
The Nicobar pigeon, which, if you want to pull the picture, they're pretty.
Great. Do you know what that is?
I have absolutely no idea, but if you just, I'm just going to have a quick Google.
Right. Well,
They're pretty cool looking animals, but yeah, basically they've taken the DNA from that, changed it a little bit, done some editing on it, and then they've now apparently already sequenced a full like dodo DNA strand.
really? That's crazy.
A bit better than our pigeons.
Yeah. So it's a pretty funky looking pigeon. Look at that. But you can see there's you can see it's like part of the. Well, that's dodo found that. But that's actually a really cool looking bird, to be fair. Look how colourful it is on the back there. It's like a big rainbow. Pull this on a bridge. That one there. Look at that. That's wicked, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a proper cool looking bird. I mean, I'd say sack the dodo off and just keep that.
But
Oh,
weirdly,
we've still got that.
Get more of them knocking about.
somebody showed me this and said, what's this like? I'd say, not a dodo.
But it's like that.
Basically.
It's like that old thing with like T-Rexes and chickens, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
People always say that. Like when you say what's the closest relative to the T-Rex alive today? It's a chicken.
Yeah, chickens are weird.
But like but it's that sort of thing though, isn't it? Like, but yeah, it's a pretty cool looking bird that, and relative to the dodo, gonna live back in Mauritius. So says Colossal, which is
It's not going to be a true dodo though. That's the one thing. Because it's like it's not dodo DNA.
yeah, I
It's what we
suppose.
think it will be like. So we're making basically.
We are fully mashing it up.
It's like when you said we'll never have dinosaurs, and I said, well, we could. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's turning genes on and off and everything, so it displays certain things to turn it into a dinosaur. That's what they've done with the dodo.
It's pretty crazy, isn't it? Like I think that whole sort of aspect is actually really, really quite weird. And what do you make of it? Like as like someone, let's start with you, Jake. Actually, what do you make of this whole thing, like Colossal and bringing back all of these sort of animals and that?
I mean, I find it mad, like,
Yeah.
to begin with, just thinking we have the power to bring back an animal that none of us have ever seen, like, and stuff. But it's like, in the case of the dodo, I don't really see the point.
Right.
It's like, it's obviously was filling a role on the island in Mauritius and everything, but it's like, the mammoth's being brought back for a purpose, and the thylacine as well, with it being an apex predator. But yeah, the dodo, I'm a bit more confused on, but I think they've done it surely to be like, yeah, this
Look
is
at what
like,
they can do, sort of thing.
it's like the ambassador almost of like extinct species.
Yeah,
Everybody
isn't it?
knows a dodo.
Yeah, literally, like even the expression "dead as a dodo."
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's not dead as a thylacine, is it? A bit rubbish that saying.
But like, the weird thing is though, those animals won't know how to survive.
Yeah,
They haven't got
they're gonna have to learn everything again, haven't they?
vegetarian species that are going to teach them. So it's like, how's that dodo going to?
I think that is one of the biggest criticisms of this whole project is like, how are they going to know how to hunt?
It's like they won't act like a mammoth would have acted because they don't know how a mammoth acted.
Yeah, exactly. It's quite weird.
Like you put them with, I don't know, you put them with a monkey, it'll start acting like a monkey because that's all it knows.
Yeah, you see it with sheep and dogs and that, innit? When a sheep's hanging around a dog, it starts bouncing around and that. Same thing, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like, how does the dodo know how to be a dodo?
Yeah. So what do you think about it, Rich?
I, like Jacob, find it amazing that they can do it. I think for animals that will do good, so like the mammoth, if it goes back into like the snow and that, like what you were saying, I think if it has a purpose, amazing. But if it doesn't necessarily have a purpose, what is the point?
Right, okay. Yeah, no, fair enough. And I think I'm similar to that. I do think it's quite interesting to see what will happen. I think, like, science-wise, I'm like, it's really cool. Whether it happens or not, don't know. But it'd be really cool, interesting to see. And ultimately, I think if it can benefit the animals that are alive today, I'm all for it, right? Because that's my thing, is like, you don't want to neglect all this money's coming in. You don't want to neglect the stuff that's alive and critically endangered today, you know? Like certain animals that could be going, like, facing extinction, could you help them with this sort of technology? And that's where I'm like, okay, let's push towards it. And if we can help animals that are alive today, sound.
No, yeah, I'd fully back it if it was that case.
Yeah. So I think, like, in that sort of scenario, yeah, I'm all for it. Let's talk about what we would de-extinct if we were colossal. You have come prepared. So we've decided we're going to de-extinct one animal that isn't a mammoth, a thylacine, or a dodo. And
How far back are we talking, though?
okay, I didn't want to do dinosaurs, but I think we could if we wanted to.
Like,
Just have a T-Rex running about.
historic animals that I'd love to see.
Yeah, it'd be cool, wouldn't it? But like T-Rex, put it back in England for banter. See what happens. It wasn't, but put it there. I want it. Right, Rach, you're going to go first. What have you...
So I will start off by saying that I didn't want to pick a common extinct animal.
Yeah.
So
Because Rachel Googled extinct animals and it kept coming up with top 10s. And like she was like, I don't want any of this.
So I did find somebody's encyclopedia of extinct animals, and I did attempt to read some of it, then got bored. So, so I've picked one, mainly because of his name.
Right, okay, what is it?
It's a pig-footed bandicoot.
Sounds pretty cool.
Right? Yeah, pig-footed. What, it's like trotters?
So,
Got little trotters. Trotted bandicoot.
with the last verifiable specimen was collected in 1901,
Okay,
but probably survived in remote areas until possibly the 1950s.
right.
So relatively new, old, no, whatever.
Yeah,
So its front feet had 2 functional toes,
yeah.
which were like hooves, and its back feet just didn't really do much.
Do you love how prepared she is as well, by the way? Like, just reading as she's trying to talk it out. She's got the animal, but she's like learning on the fly.
No, I have read about it, but obviously it's not an animal that I'm well accustomed to.
Right. Okay, go on.
So,
Pig-footed, trotted bandicoot.
oh, it's also in Australia. I don't know if I said that.
Yeah, bandicoots, yeah.
And we're saying that the averages were describing what it was like. And when it was sort of like walking around looking for food, it was really sort of slow, but would like drag its back legs. So its back legs were sort of like redundant if it was walking.
That's really
But
good.
it became like running, apparently it was really fast. And it would like bunny hop with its back legs. So its back legs would then sort of turn into like springs.
Yeah.
And I just think, weird.
That is quite weird, isn't it? Like, do you know what, Rach? You're actually going to put us to shame.
Thank you.
Because you've actually researched. I was just going to... shall I go with mine?
Go on then.
Or Spinosaurus.
I thought you just said no dinosaur.
I know, but like, I thought I'd just wing it. And I've gone against my own rules, innit?
Spinosaurus, fair enough though.
I want a Spinosaurus, and it ain't going back to Egypt or wherever it was from. It's coming to the UK. It's going to Scotland.
There was a relative of Spinosaurus though.
Yeah, the Baryonyx, yeah. But I want Spinosaurus, that big fish-eating massive thing. I want the one specifically from Jurassic Park 3. I want that one.
Like a real
I want that one. That is a good one. I want that, and you're going to put that in Scotland. Stick that in Loch Ness. Huh?
Destroyed by a Spinosaurus.
Bollocks to flipping Nessie. Stick that in Loch Ness. Watch the excitement. That'd be wicked, wouldn't it? Imagine the boat tours.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Spinosaurus. So, yeah, sorry, like, we've actually done it not very right, but you did. Well done.
I'm still talking about my pig-footed bandicoot.
Oh, right, sorry. I'm really sorry. Sorry, just jumping in with the Spinosaurus.
That's all right.
Go on.
So they were no bigger than a kitten. So, like,
Oh, that's very small. Yeah, I've
like
seen a
really
bandicoot.
small. And the Aborigines also said that they were great little animals because they had mega stamina
Yeah.
and like could run at full speed for quite long periods of time. So going into where I would bring it, I'd bring it to the UK.
But
Yeah.
you're not gonna put it back in Australia.
I'd put it in Australia too, but I won't want to, so
Yeah.
I'll bring it here too.
Why would you bring it to the UK?
Because it's got a cute name.
You just want to see it.
I have written a list of my reasons.
Okay, you've actually fully gone for it. We've not done this.
So I would put it one into the UK,
Yeah.
and because it's got a cute name, that's why I want it. I would make it slightly bigger so people don't think it's a deformed rat.
Yeah.
And I would make it a bit more like a goat,
Yeah.
so it
What?
keeps the grass short.
And what?
A bit more like a goat.
What do you mean?
So I wouldn't cross it with a goat.
You just wanted to eat grass?
No, but I wanted to sort of like how a farmer would have a goat to cut the grass down. And like some places have like horses
Wallaby.
to keep the grass,
Yeah, well,
you know, whatever. But
Yeah.
Sheep. My pig-footed bandicoot.
Okay, well, yeah. What do you mean you'll cross it with a goat?
No, I'm not going to cross it with a goat.
What's a goat got to do with it?
So it's going to be a bit like a goat, how a goat would like cut down the grass,
What?
but my pig-footed bandicoot is going to do the job instead. So get rid of your goat,
Yeah.
get the pig-footed bandicoot.
Right. Yeah. Smashed it. Okay, well,
But yeah, it would have to be slightly bigger so people wouldn't like kill it.
yeah, run it over or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Well,
Yeah, with its weird legs.
do you know what, Rach? I'm actually really impressed because
No, yeah, same.
I didn't think you would come with anything like
Find your phone.
spectacular. Yeah, if I was
see it.
yeah, because I want to see this sort of thing. But I'm actually really quite surprised because I've not taken this part seriously, and you have. You've come with facts.
Look at his weird
Yeah.
little little.
Okay, I can see his feet. Yeah, he is like a little rat-looking thing here. Like, well, he looks a bit ropey and that.
Yeah, it's a little flower. It's not.
You still find that cute, do you? Or
No, in photo I saw it looked like here.
yeah, that was good. That
It is like a mouse mixed with
like a
like.
Jerboa, isn't it? It's sort of got a bit of Jerboa about it. But yeah, no, Bandicoot. I think they're really cool.
But they're small and like weird legs.
Yeah,
Well, that one obviously.
that one again looks a bit ropey when it loads, but that's fine. We don't need to look at that, do we?
Yeah.
So, do you know what? Like, fair play. I've actually seen Bandicoot, a really rare one. So the Eastern Barred Bandicoot, if you want to like search that up so everyone can see it.
Who? Sorry.
Eastern Barred Bandicoot. So I was in Australia, looking for.
Oh, they're cute.
was
With
that
little
for?
lines.
I went to look for penguins. In
As you do.
Phillip Island in Australia, and down the south there in Phillip Island, we were watching these penguins come onto the beach. And as we left in the car park, one of these little guys. So this here on the left side or the right side of the picture you got there, look at it, little Thylacine looking bandicoot, really cool, isn't it? But that recently was extinct in the wild.
Oh.
Within the last like 20-30 years, was extinct in the wild in the mainland of Australia. And only recently they started putting them back in Phillip Island and a couple of islands on the south of Australia. Look at it. It's wicked looking, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite cute.
You like that one? That's a cute one, isn't it? So I saw that. I was running about my feet in a car park on Phillip Island. It was sick, mate. Loved it. Proper cool thing. But yeah, cool. Love that. Let's have another little look at it. Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Good look at that. That's literally the exact same thing. Wicked. Right, Jacob, tell me about yours. Because we've got Spinosaurus. We've got a pig-footed bandicoot. What is yours going to be? He's not done any research.
I haven't done my research.
Jesus, Rach, what a flipping amateur. Do you know what I mean? Go on, what is it, mate?
The Paraceratherium.
Sorry, what?
Yeah.
Go on, Rach. What? Say that again.
Paraceratherium.
Actually, did a really good job.
It's good, actually.
Fair play. That was good.
I know, like, it's got no use.
Right, okay.
It went extinct, like, millions of years ago.
Right, Rachel's going to need to have a look at what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's a good name
Yeah.
for an animal, and it might be a little bit of an obscure one, to be fair, for everyone listening. But Rachel's going to, it's a C.
It's a C.
It's a
Yeah.
C.
What here?
Yeah.
You know what it is, don't you?
That.
ER. Yeah, there we go. Lovely.
Look at these things.
Look at that.
Oh,
So,
Largest terrestrial mammal to ever live.
do you know what it is about these? You know this as well.
I know where you know it from.
The only reason I know what it is because I play the game called Ark. You go like shoot them and that, innit?
Okay.
or don't. It's whatever. But they're always usually around the swamps in Ark. There we go. They're down there.
Well, that's from the game.
So go on. Tell me about the Paracetherium.
So
I said
they were found in like Pakistan and
Yeah.
that area of the world
Yeah.
where they're from, back in the Oligocene epoch even.
Right. Okay.
So quite a while ago.
A while ago.
But yeah,
Cool looking, isn't it?
largest terrestrial mammal to
a
ever live.
Rhino giraffe looking thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like an elephant rhino
With
giraffe.
armor. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a giraffe with armor. So this one here, you can see on the right side, it's got the size comparison between a woman, who I guess is like 5'5". I don't know, but that thing's massive.
There's also this one where there's somebody on it.
Riding it, yeah. Look, Pleistocene parks in action. But like, it's just a bit mad, isn't it?
Just imagine that thing just still wandering around.
So what? Would you change anything about it? Like,
Now,
you just leave it as it is? It's big compared to the elephant. Look at that. Oh my god, that is massive, isn't it?
like just
Look.
I think it'd just be awesome having something like that wandering around again.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, mate. That looks really cool, actually. So where would you put it? Just keep it in Pakistan?
No, yeah, like obviously it's changed a bit since it was around. So find a place that's similar to like its kind of habitat then.
Yeah.
Don't really know how Pakistan looked back in that time period, but
Yeah.
find somewhere similar, put it there.
No, fair enough. No, rate that. That's quite cool, isn't it?
Better than your dinosaur.
Yeah. So comment section, let us know which one of those animals would you pick to de-extinct and why. Would you go with Jacob's Paraceratherium? Would you go with Rachel's pig-footed bandicoot? Or would you go with my Spinosaurus from Jurassic Park 3? Let us know in the comment section down below. Jacob, it's time for Guess the Animal Noise. It's your turn. Have you come with an animal noise?
Yes, I'm actually
That is lovely. All right, here we go. Game time, Rachel. You excited for this?
ready.
You excited?
Last time, so
Do you know what? Rachel's 1-0. She's smashing it so far. Like, I can't believe it, but it's the way of the world, right?
I feel like mine's going to be a bit easier.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Am I going to get it? Right, just for a little bit of context, it's a UK animal, but that can be an animal anomaly. So that can be something that shouldn't be here, like a wannabe, for example. Animals that are in the UK. That's what it's got to be, okay?
Yeah.
So are you ready to go?
I'm ready to
Right, play it into the microphone.
turn the sound up.
Rachel, you ready?
I'm stressed.
Why? It's not for you.
I need to win.
Alright then.
All right, be good, yeah? Go on, here we go. Oh.
Crow.
Oh.
Parakeet.
No. What is that?
Bird.
Oh, I feel like I know it.
Magpie.
No. Do I know that? Well, do I know the animal?
Yeah. Do I know?
Oh, God. You might do, yeah. This is going to really annoy me.
Pigeon.
No.
Is it a bird?
Yeah, so
I think it's a bird, yeah.
Is it a common?
I think it's a bird of prey.
Buzzard.
no,
Kite.
no,
Oh, is it kestrel?
nope,
Oh, my God. Is it a bird of prey? Are we on the right tracks there?
not really, no.
Oh, good. Right. Never
Owl.
mind then.
Is it an owl?
No, you're close with your very first guess though.
A buzzard?
Crow.
Yeah, crow is close.
Oh, okay. So it's I know what it is. It's where he's from.
Yeah,
It's chuff.
yeah.
It's a chuff.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So I got it from the Cornish. Yeah. It's a Cornish bird down
I
in
would
Falmouth.
never have got that.
He sees a lot of them.
Yeah.
Now he lives down there because obviously they're a coastal bird now. Well, they're a coastal bird, but like, God, you want to tell the story about them? Like why they're there? How many are there? There's not a lot.
Don't know how many there are. I haven't gone and counted them.
There is
but
there's not a lot, but their stronghold is Cornwall and like the west.
yeah, they're like the kind of bird of Cornwall.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
special down there because they almost went extinct. So there's loads of efforts that went into bringing them back basically.
Yeah.
Now they're doing all right.
Get us a picture, Rich. We have to. Have,
They're really cool looking birds.
they are really cool looking. Yeah.
I'm
Like,
actually quite like chuffs, but I would never have guessed that was.
no, I think I've heard that noise before down in Cornwall, but I couldn't.
All the time.
I couldn't off. Yeah, I can imagine. I couldn't off the top of my head remember that. To be fair,
Just
we're having a bit of technical difficulty.
Yeah.
Right. So here we go. This is.
It's a crow with lipstick on.
It's yeah. Imagine like a snowman with a carrot out of his nose. That is. It's like a weird blackbird looking thing, isn't it? But yeah, like look at that. It's really cool looking. I really like it. It's as far as corvids go. I mean, we got some really cool ones like the jade.
Jade.
But like you know, you got crows, jackdaws, and ravens and stuff. They all look the same. This one I think stands out with big orange beak and orange feet. Really cool looking, isn't it? Yeah, rate that. Gotta love the chuffs.
Sat taking pictures of them literally like couple of days ago.
Yeah, you got some nice pictures as well of these as well. Yeah, they're really good. And that's the only way I got that is when you said it was like a crow. I was like, okay, he's got one from where he lives. Yeah, yeah, sick, mate. Rate that.
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah.
You like the
Joe would never have got that, but yeah.
No, it's difficult. I think that was a difficult one.
But if you who gave it away.
Yeah, Blue did give it away. But if you got that in the comment section, let us know. Because that was a hard one, I would say. That was harder than Otter, I think. Would you think?
I'd guess.
All right, so that's the game. Well done, nice one, nice and difficult. Cheers, mate. We're now going to move on to the main course of this podcast.
What they've all been waiting for.
What they've all been waiting for. Rachel, what is it?
The Thylacine?
Yes, it's the Thylacine. Yeah, the Thylacine. So, obviously, if you guys are familiar with the YouTube, my YouTube channel, hello. If you're familiar with my YouTube channel, or have you talked about the Thylacine before?
Yeah, I've done it as well.
So I've done loads of videos on the Thylacine. I've had beefs. I've had lots of people, interesting people to talk to about it, and I've done loads with the Thylacine, and I love it. Can't get enough of it. Rachel, do you know much about the Thylacine?
Then extinct.
Or are they? Or are they? Da, 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 da. Right, so officially they went extinct. The last one was seen alive in 1936. I think at that time, 50 years later, if it wasn't seen, it gets declared in 1986 it's extinct, right? So officially there are no records of it, but we've got some sightings to tell you about today that could maybe change the course of history. So maybe the last one wasn't 1936. Maybe the last one was at a different
Are
time.
these like legit sightings or are these congrats guys, we've done it?
What? What did you say?
Congrats guys, we've done it.
You're very close. Congratulations, everyone. We've done it. Yeah, so Rachel's in reference there to good old Neil Waters and his Thylacine Jerry picture from a couple of years ago. It's a couple of years ago now? It's about that, isn't it? It's a while ago. With his wallabies and that. Bit of a shame. Got everyone excited for no reason. Cheers, Neil. Jesus. Right, anyway, so yeah, legit.
All right.
Legit. Like, good. This could be like the legitimate sources to Thylacine still being alive. Now, I love everything about the Thylacine. It's one of those things for me. I can't get enough of it. Would you say, Rich, just before we talk about these, would you say the Thylacine is still alive, or would you go it's extinct? Just find an answer straight away and just sort of like, what do you think?
I would possibly say they're still alive.
Why? What's that based on?
I don't know.
You don't know. It's just like a blind hope, or?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm actually quite 50-50 about it all.
Yeah.
I feel like, no, they're not still alive because it's a bigger animal that you would probably see.
Yeah.
So it's not like a size of a mouse. Like, you would probably see it.
Right, okay. Yeah.
But then I feel like, yes, it is still there, but hidden.
Right, okay. Well, okay, fair enough. Jacob, what were you, mate? What are you saying?
There's a possibility in places like Papua New Guinea, maybe.
Okay.
It's such like, I don't know, an unexplored area.
Yeah.
Like with the terrain and everything just being disgusting there to go and do expeditions. But it's like mainland Australia and like Tasmania and stuff, I don't think there's any knocking around there.
Okay. Same for me. I think if there's any last hope, it is probably Papua New Guinea, and I don't think they're in mainland Australia.
No.
But a little tiny smidgen of me thinks they might still be in Tasmania, and I don't know why I hold on that hope. Basically, I've explained this before on my YouTube channel. My head says they're extinct. They're not here anymore. They're gone.
Same.
That's it. They're gone. But there's something here that just won't let it go.
But is that just you being hopeful?
I don't.
More than anything.
Yeah, of course. It's just there's something here that's just like, no, mate, they're still there. Don't give up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's hold on that hope. There's something there, and I don't know why this animal has me like this. Because there's like maybe one other that I sort of get to that same realm. But as far as like extinct animals go, or like thought to be extinct, the Thylacine is far and beyond like something I get excited about. The next one's probably the ivory-billed woodpecker, but
Right, yeah.
the Thylacine, there's just something about it. It makes me emotional. I have no idea why.
It's a bit like a dog.
I think so. It might be something to do with that. Like, you know, like everyone loves dogs, and
Yeah.
we love dogs. We've all got dogs, so it's like we love them. and it might be something to do with we killed off this stripy dog that could hold like stuff like a kangaroo, and it's just I don't know. There's just something about it. I absolutely love it.
So how did they go extinct? Sort of basically from humans.
Yeah, pretty much. So it depends on the location. So the mainland of Australia, it's thought that partly humans, but also dingoes getting introduced into mainland of Australia, they outcompeted them, amongst other things as well, I suppose. Tasmania is a direct conflict with humans. So this one was basically they were hunted to death with a bounty on their head. So they were thought to be like sheep killers and kill off like people's farm animals and whatever. So 19th century, it turned out that basically they were like, right, we're sick of these animals. We want them gone. And then the government put out like bounties. They said, if you kill them, bring us like a body or whatever, we'll give you £1 or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Worth it.
Yeah. £1 back then is probably about £400 now.
Yeah.
So it's like people back then would have been like, yeah, all right, do that.
I find it like quite mad that happened, because obviously foxes are an issue to like our sort of livestock,
Yeah.
but we don't kill all the foxes. So like, why would they?
Some people do.
Well, yeah,
Well,
it was a big part of our history in fox hunting and everything.
But like, yeah. But
I know what you're saying, but I think
we
we're probably
eradicated foxes.
more sensible now than we were like 100 or 200 years ago. And obviously social media doesn't let you do that sort of stuff to that extent.
So you're saying like, if it was a case now that the thylacines were like mega endangered, they would be more preserved now
Yeah,
and protected.
Yeah,
100%.
absolutely. They'd be like, everyone would be like, no, save them. Like, we're not letting that go.
No.
But back then, I think, because you got to imagine Tasmania back in like the 19th century, early 20th century, not a lot of people living there. And it was one of those where you probably fearmonger through word of mouth. Obviously, nowadays, you can fearmonger through social media and whatever and try and cause a ruckus that way. But back then, you could have been like slagging off the thylacines and whatever, and your next door neighbour would be like, oh, bloody hell, yeah, I don't want them near me. And just scaring people with stories, you know, because they also get called like hyenas or wolves. So they had different names and whatever. So yeah, a bit of a sticky one. But anyway, it's weird, isn't it? To be fair, like, why would you do that? Just a bit strange. But you look back at like the time and the place and that.
Any animal we've hunted to extinction and stuff, like, you can ask the same question. Why?
Yeah, it's weird. Don't like it. It's just human nature, I suppose. But did you want to go through your sighting first? Have you got one sighting?
I've got one, yeah.
You got one sighting. Do you want to go through yours first?
Can do, yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, here we go. Sighting number 1. Now, what era are we talking? What time period?
Talking about the 80s here.
80s.
So,
All right. Sort of close.
after
Yeah.
they were declared extinct.
Yeah, the decade they were declared extinct, yeah.
Right, yeah. And so we've got the Hans Narding sighting.
Okay, you heard about this?
No.
Okay, good. Right, he's coughing. He's lack of professionalism again.
Yeah.
Can't believe it. I got told off because I didn't take the camera off him in the last episode, but just went through this on, didn't you?
Yeah. Couldn't hold that one. But
No, good. Right, go on then.
we've got the Hans Narding sighting.
Is it 1982?
Yeah.
Yeah, 1982. Hans Nardi. Go on then. Let's go. What is it?
So basically, this guy, he's an experienced like field ranger and everything over in Tasmania. He's pretty sure he's done some work out in Africa with the wildlife, so he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Like, seeing as he's a field ranger in Tasmania as well, he's not going to get confused between the animals that are out there.
It's a man that spends a lot of time outside.
Yeah, he has some good knowledge.
Yeah.
And so if he says he sees a thylacine, it's a good bet that it wasn't just a misidentification like
Right. Okay.
some like randomer might think.
Yeah, like Rach, you would go out into the open wild world. You might get the wrong idea or something, right? You might see something and not know what it is and get the wrong label.
Yeah.
By the way, this happens quite a lot. I'll probably talk about that a little bit, but carry on with your sighting. 1982, Hans Narding. So what happened?
I've got a nice little speech here that he gave.
Okay, go on then. Read that out. Yeah, what he's got a speech.
Basically-
That's very small, mate. Can you read that?
Barely, but I'll give it a go. So basically, he said that, like, as his report of the sighting, it was raining heavily. At 2 a.m. I woke up and out of habit scanned the surroundings and everything. And he turned his spotlight on and was just shining the beam around. And that's when he spotted it. It was
Just in the beam.
yeah, just straight in the light of the beam.
Mad.
This thylacine standing side on.
Just stripes and everything.
Yeah, and he was
Crazy.
like, he had his camera and stuff with him, but he didn't want to grab it and stuff because the movement would have scared it off.
Yeah.
So he like he stopped and just watched it for a bit to make sure, yeah, that's the thylacine thing. And then when he went to like kind of grab his camera and stuff, it ran off. Which is kind of, that's a bit dodgy, but...
Yeah, it happens.
Well, it happens.
I filmed myself doing that the other day. Not with a thylacine, but with a fox. The fox ran up into my grill, like probably less than 5 meters away. I stood frozen, and I was like, I want to film it. And as soon as I went to get the camera, it legged it.
Yeah.
And I caught the end of it, but like, back in them time, they didn't have a GoPro, did they? So, a bit harder for a minute.
But yeah, he said, before like risking movement and stuff and scaring it off, he said it was an adult male with excellent condition and 12 black stripes on its sandy coat.
Oh, so you could count them, yeah.
Yeah, so sounds like a thylacine so far.
It sounds like a thylacine to me.
Yeah, the eye reflection was pale yellow and it moved only once to open its jaw, showing its teeth. And then he said after several minutes of observation, the animal moved away into the undergrowth and he lost it.
And that's it, gone forever.
Yeah.
Do you know what happened, like, because he was obviously a big time, not big time, but like he was a park ranger, so he sort of knew what wildlife there was and what there was about, and misidentifications probably weren't going to be his thing, right?
Yeah.
So what happened after that?
Well, after he reported it and everything, a big search took place.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure like it was 250 like kilometers squared like area around where he made the sighting.
Yeah.
Where there was no trace of a thylacine was found, but a report came back saying that potentially thylacines were active in the area up until then.
Right, okay.
They think that was possibly the last thylacine in existence.
So for me, I've heard Nick Mooney talk about that before, and he was part of this as well, because he worked for the government at the time, I think. And he said there was a big government search.
Yeah, it was like top secret at the time.
Yeah,
like
big time.
until they finished it and said, that we haven't found anything. But
yeah,
it was
like
kept secret.
It was mad, wasn't it? Like this, like proper top secret. We need to find this animal. For like 2 years, wasn't it? It was really long.
It was a big old 2-year search.
Yeah, and they returned no animal, but they did say, like you said, there could be potentially some or one still out there that's sort of knocking about. But what I found weird about that one is the location. It's in the northwest of the country, which I find of the island, not the country. It's in the northwest of the island of Tasmania, which is semi-populated, I would say. Nowadays it is, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe in the 80s it's a little bit different, but there's still probably more people there than there are where my sighting comes from. So that was Hans Narding, 1982. To me, if the government's involved, sounds legit.
And seeing as he's like a wildlife expert as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I think, to me, that's the most legit report that there's been.
I'm going to try and rival that with my report, which comes from Adamsfield, 1990.
So a few years after my one?
Yeah, a few years after yours. So like just over 30 years ago now. And Rach, can you pull up, please, Tasmania on the map? I'll show you where this is because it's in the southwest. But also to give context to where Jacob's one from Hans Narding was.
In relation to Australia?
No, just the island of Tasmania, please. That would be great. Yeah, you can Google map it if you want, mate. That would be...
Yeah. Oh, is that what you want to...
Yeah, just Google map it. Oh, it sounds... But, right, anyway, while Rach was... Oh, okay, we're already there. Lovely. So, as we're looking at the map, you see where it says Franklin Gordon Wild Rivers National Park?
Yes.
That is pretty much around this area where these big lakes are. That is like Adamsfield, right? So, it's as you can see, green, very green, nobody there at all. There's not a lot of people there. Go up, Rich. It's in
like there.
Yeah.
That area up there.
Can you see that? Where your mouse is?
Where the mouse is, pretty much.
Yeah. So as we go on to here, so pretty much around here, this sort of area, is where Hans Narding saw his.
Tagari.
There we go. Tagari. You see it, Rich?
There.
Yeah, Tagari. So this one here, that's where Hans Narding saw his. If you go on the layers and press that on, Rich, you probably see houses and stuff. So, it's really fast. Anyway, there are a lot of like farmlands and residencies in that area now.
We've still got plenty of wild.
Plenty.
I wouldn't actually say it's not very populated.
But to be fair, it's farmland, so it probably gets combed over quite a bit, you know.
I'm never know that. Dismal.
It's a dismal swamp. That is a great name. So if we go back down to Adamsfield, let's try and find that, or just type it in or whatever. So yeah, right down southwest, around. You see Florentine, just on the right where your mouse is. So Florentine, just there on the right. Keep going. On the right, there you go. This is it. The Adamsfield Conservation Area. We got it, yeah? Lovely. So this is still quite wild today.
You've got absolutely nothing there.
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. There is nothing there. So zoom out a little bit, mate. Lovely. So this whole area is where my sightings come from.
Oh my god, look at this, the creepy Cordy trail.
The creepy. So Adamsfield, Thylacine, 1990, in this sort of area. And by the way, Florentine Valley, which is this sort of area, that's where the last one was captured from the wild. So in 1990, maybe 1991, we can't be specific on this. There are two separate accounts which add to the claim, the credence of this. The first one, hunters were out in Adamsfield, this sort of area we've got sort of behind us on the screen right now. Yeah. But they were searching for wallabies, trying to like shoot them and whatever. Then all of a sudden, there's a rustle next to them. Right. An animal's been awoken, it's been startled, scared. It jumps up, tries to run away. One of the hunters gets scared, turns, shoots it, bangs it, dead, straight away, kills it. And after they kill it, they realise, hang on a second, what have we done? They look at the animal and they realise it's a thylacine. They've gone, oh my God, we've just killed a Tasmanian tiger. So that's number one, the sighting. Also, I should probably add, they did take some pictures of it. Now, the second one is a fella called Rusty Morley. He's an interesting guy, great name. He had another name as well, but you see where it says like Maydena or something like that? That's where he was, and like Tyena. He's sort of around that area, so in the Thylacine, Adamsfield area, right? Now, Rusty lived in this sort of area. He took 3 Polaroids of a small Thylacine carcass he found while he was out in the bush that he claims died of natural causes, right? Very interesting. Those photos, I don't think have ever come to light. Same with the hunters ones as well. But if you guys like watching want to see or listening want to see what Adamsfield looks like, there's a YouTuber who I interviewed called Rob Parsons. Really interesting guy, outdoorsy guy in Tasmania. He did a big thing around Adamsfield looking for some huts and stuff, because Adamsfield in the 1920s and 30s and whatever was a big mining place. Because a few fellas had found this like metal, I think it is, called osmiridium. Right. And at the time was like 5 times worth more than gold. So it was a very precious thing that they wanted. And they set up a big camp there, huts and stuff, and they had like a post office, a little shop and all that. People were like trying to find out all this osmiridium. As time went on, that changed because it became less expensive to be or whatever, because like something had happened where they created a different pen, because osmiridium was something used in like fountain pens or whatever. Right. And then it changed. The big pen came and ruined that all. So basically, Adamsfield at that point got left deserted. If you want to see it, it's on Rob Parsons' channel. It's a really good video, like really interesting guy as well. But in that area, that's where Rusty comes in, because Rusty himself, the geezer, has had mad sightings, like quite a lot as well. So in 1960, when Rusty was age 15, he said he first saw the tiger in a bush, and he had the opportunity to shoot it with a shotgun, but he didn't. He approached the bush, and the tiger gave what appears to be a threat yawn before taking off. 1984, he had another sighting. 1990, 1991, this is the one we're talking about today. He took a picture of these like thylacines 1, 2, and 3 Polaroids of like different aspects of the thylacine. And in 1991, he took a plaster cast next to the road of like what he thought was thylacine prints. 1996, he tracked thylacine around a lake, then took a plaster cast from the lakeside. Right. These have been verified by the Thylacine Research Unit. So these plaster casts were looked over, and they couldn't determine it to be anything else other than a thylacine. Right. So that's really interesting. Now, can you rule out a fake? Probably not. Not too sure on that one. We move it on. 1992, and this is where the story gets interesting. A geezer by the name of Colin Coomber, who was a newspaper editor at the time, he's shown around 10 photos of an alleged dead thylacine, which includes a bullet wound from an unknown thylacine researcher who had duplicated the photos without the knowledge of hunters. So this person had seen these photos, duplicated them, and showed this newspaper reporter, Colin Coomber.
Right.
He told the story, and it goes like this. He tells about the photos, and he says there's a full shot of an animal lying on its right-hand side. You can see it's on like grass and whatever. And there's also a close-up side of its left side of its head, with the mouth partially open. There's a close-up of the front foot. There's also a close-up of the rear feet and the ankle bone, because they've obviously got like a unique sort of ankle bone that's quite long. Close-up of the thick tail. There's a close-up of the entrance hole of where they shot it, and the exit hole as well. And there were a couple of other photos as well, but you can't remember what they were. Colin's still alive today. I'd love to interview him, by the way. That'd be really interesting.
Yeah, that would be.
But the thing that makes it all very complicated, and I just want to give a shout out here to the guy who runs the website Where Light Meets Dark, because without that website, I wouldn't have been able to come out with this summary of this story, right? It gets confusing because there are photos in circulation, and there are photos of photos in circulation, and it all becomes so confusing and stuff that I can't dissect on a podcast.
Yeah.
It's very, very weird, confusing, and I don't understand it. But if you want to see more and learn more about that, you go to that guy's website, Where Light Meets Dark, and look at the Adamsfield Thylacine, and you will understand what I'm talking about, because it's a mind boggler and it gets mad confusing. And I honestly would not be able to keep you up to date with it in this podcast. But the two photos show a foot of the Thylacine, and they're on the website. There's a photo A, there's a photo B. Both of them have been declared a museum specimen. Yeah. So not the actual photos of from the hunters. However, in photo B of the foot of the Thylacine, there's an actual Thylacine's foot on top of it, which is a museum specimen. Underneath that, there's another picture, and it looks like a Polaroid, and it's another foot. And I think his name's Chris of Where Light Meets Dark, the website. He believes, or at least has alluded to, that could be the real deal. That picture underneath, and they're using that foot of the museum specimen to compare the photo he's got to this foot here in the museum specimen.
Yeah.
Now, very confusing. There's a lot going on. Two separate accounts. You've got Rusty, who saw a dead one. You've got the hunters that shot one allegedly. A year later, a newspaper editor sees or gets these photos from an informant, a Thylacine researcher. For me, that backs up the stories.
No, yeah.
And I personally, after hearing this story and reading this story and all that, I personally believe that could be legit. Thylacine's still around at that time. What do you guys think about that? Because you let me waffle for a lot then. So, what do you guys think about that?
So the sightings that you just said about, are they the most recent sightings that they've had?
In terms of like legitness, yeah. So there'll be sightings every day of people thinking they've seen a Thylacine, but in terms of like ones that are people actually think, oh my god, that could be legit, then these are it, yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like now that technology is as good as it is, that if there was legit sightings, we would have seen about it in the last 20, 30 years.
There is that point, but it's also said that the Thylacine could be a very nocturnal animal in terms of like you just won't see it in the day at all.
True, yeah.
What are you going to say, Nick?
Just on the technology point though, it's like we just rediscovered the black-naped pheasant pigeon.
Yeah, true, actually.
Right.
The black-naped pheasant pigeon, Rach, is a bird in Papua New Guinea, hasn't been seen for 140 years, never documented via video or photo, and did last year.
Yeah.
Mad.
Yeah.
It's like we've still got stuff like that happening though.
The Sowler is out in Vietnam and Laos, and that doesn't get sighted. But that's a big animal. That's like an antelope.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
And that never gets seen. Yeah, it's
possible that it could be out there, just not being seen.
Yeah. So the only things I have with this, right, my questions, how have these photos, if they exist, how have they never come out? Colin says he's seen about 10 of them, but they've never come out. And he says himself, I don't know how they're not public. Also, who is this person doing this Thylacine research? Who is it? And is this potentially the last Thylacines? Or are they still out there today?
Yeah, it's like the picture thing though. It's like the government search where it's top secret. Like, the governments, they might just want to keep it hidden. Because, like, if they release, Thylacine's still out there, there's going to be someone who will go hunting for them.
Absolutely. Yeah, probably.
So if they know they're a super rare thing, there's like a couple left, they're not going to release it when there's the risk that somebody could go and just shoot them.
Yeah, they will keep it hidden and for a while.
I would have thought so. Like, if someone finds one tomorrow, that it's not going to be told in the news tomorrow.
No.
Probably never, or in a few years' time, maybe.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's going to be our sightings of the Thylacine. Our two best ones, so Hans Narding 1982, and then you got the Adamsfield Thylacines in 1990. Again, I implore everybody listening or watching, go to Where Light Meets Dark to read about that, because it is so detailed, and we'll do a better job of what I just did. But I wanted to summarise it for you. So hopefully that was interesting. Let us know in the comment section down below what you thought about that. But I think we're going to leave it here. Next time on the podcast, what we're talking about. Do you remember? So the next time we're talking about big cats in the UK. Rachel's favourite topic.
I've also got animal noise.
You got an animal noise? Oh yeah, Rachel's going to do the animal noise game. Cool. All right, so big cats is going to be the next port of call.
Got a few more animal anomalies.
Animal anomalies coming as well in the next one. So make sure you stick around on the podcast, like it, rate it, all that sort of stuff where you find it, wherever.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it. Let us know. Give us some feedback as well. Are you enjoying the podcast? Anyway, I've been Cookie.
I've been Jacob.
I've been Rachel.
This has been the Animal Anomalies podcast. Thank you for watching or listening, and we'll see you in the next one.